Chapter 6. For Bad and the Wonderful Lamp. I rejoiced with my mother's advice and went out immediately in search of my father's old friend. Getting to him, I knelt at his feet, told him everything that had happened to me, and besought him with tears of despair, "For the love of my father, your so confident friend, don't let me be annihilated." The old man thought for a moment and answered me in a friendly way, "My son, I am decided to do everything possible for your prosperity. But there is only one way to find a remedy for your misfortune. In the tower of a castle, very far from here, lives a dragon with 7 heads, watching over a vast treasure. Under his power, there are yet 2 lamps of wonderful properties. One of them is called Lamp Donor of Gold, and the other one, Lamp Donor of Silver. When the Lamp Donor of Gold ignites, with stunning flames, the gold pours itself out in great drops, and produces, for one day, 100 pounds of gold. And when the Lamp Donor of Silver ignites, with exuberant flames, the silver pours itself out in enormous drops, and produces, for one day, thousands pounds of silver. If you could get hold of one of these lamps, you would become much richer and happier than you were before. Try then to get hold of the first lamp. I must however warn you that the road that leads to the tower is full of dangerous wild animals. Many adventurers have already tried to get there and were annihilated by these animals. If you are not very careful, the same thing can happen to you." "It does not matter to me," I said. "If my mother didn't exist anymore, I would have taken my life since a long time ago. I am very sorry for her. For what would become of her, my poor mother, after my death? Now, however, I must prove my luck. Either I fall victim of the dangerous wild animals, or I reach up my goal victoriously. I ask you to, if I do not return, help my mother, and don't let her be consumed by pain." He then reassured me, saying, "For your mother, you should not have any concern. I will make that she does not even know of this adventure of yours. Take care. Allah will be with you. Good luck on your journey. May Allah help you achieve your goal and come back safe and sound." The old man then gave me his blessing, and I put myself on the way. For 3 years I had already traveled, when I got to a crossroad, which it branched off in 3 directions. One went to west, another to east, and a third, on a straight line. For a long time, I remained in doubt, without knowing which of them I should take. As I was already very tired, I decided to make a stop there, waiting for the dawn the next day. I then lay down on the grass beside the road, and ended up sleeping and dreaming. In the dream, I saw someone who said to me, "Do not be afraid, young man. Choose, without fear, the road in the middle, so that you will not be exposed to any danger, and will achieve, venturously, your objective." Then, incited by the dream, at dawn the next day, I took the road in the middle and proceeded to my trip. Suddenly, I came across an enormous quantity of cadavers, both of people and animals, scattered everywhere along the road. In continuation to my trip, I was confronted, right after, with an extensive and perfumed scrub that, growing on both sides of the road, formed over it a so intricate plot that had become impenetrable even by the sunlight. And then I thought, what delicious scents exude from there. If I had time, I would stay there enjoying it. Immediately, the intricate plot opened itself, leaving the road free for me. However, I had just barely crossed that place, and the intricate plot closed. Continuing my trip, I faced myself, soon after, with a strange stream of blood flowing right in front of me. And then I said to myself, what crystalline and transparent waters! If I weren't in such a hurry, I would quench my thirst there. Immediately, the stream of blood disappeared, leaving the bed of the stream completely dry. However, I had just barely crossed that dry bed, and the stream of blood returned to flow. Continuing then my trip, I saw two posts, located on both sides of the road. On one of them, was tied a fantastic horse, and on the other, a fantastic dog. In front of the dog, there was a portion of hay, and in front of the horse, a piece of meat, and each one tried, unsuccessfully, to reach what was in front of the other. I then took the portion of hay and put it in front of the horse, took the piece of meat and put it in front of the dog. Immediately, they moved backwards, turning each one to what was its own and leaving the road free for me. But then, I was in front of two gates, blocking the road. One of them was open and, the other, closed. I then closed the first one and opened the second one, and going through it, I moved on. A little further on, I saw two carpets, in the middle of the road. One of them was unrolled, and the other, rolled. I then rolled the first one and unrolled the second one, and going over it, I continued on my road. Finally, I saw the tower, object of my journey, and up there, a beautiful princess, showing up through the window. When she saw me, she startled and, at the same time, rejoiced, and said to me from up there, "How did you get here? I am a daughter of a mighty king." But one time, when I was walking through the garden, in company with my girlfriends, a seven-headed dragon, which was in love with me, kidnapped me, and brought me to this tower. After that, I never got out of here, and I couldn't even once see a human face. For the road that leading to this tower is full of dangerous wild animals, and all who tried to get here were shattered by these monsters. Therefore, I'm surprised that they allowed you to get here. But, even so, I feel sorry for you. For, in a little while, the dragon will return from his hunt and will shred you into pieces. I then told her how I had managed to get to that place, explained to her what I would want to do, and tried to reassure her, saying, "Don't be afraid, princess, for soon I will set you free." She then became very happy, and told me the place where the lamp donor of gold and the lamp donor of silver were. I then saddled the best of the dragon's horse, which was called Girat, and on which one could travel around the world in only an hour. I jumped on it and, grabbing the lamp donor of gold, I went galloping, carrying the princess on the rump. When the dragon, returning from his hunt, saw that the princess was being kidnapped, he let out a great roar. "Roll up my carpet, and arrest the fugitives." But the unrolled carpet only replied, "Many years ago, you rolled me, but he unrolled me. And now I can't hold him, because it is not fair to pay the good with the evil." Turning then to the wild animals, he ordered to each of them to halt the fugitives. But the response he got from each one was the same already given by the unrolled carpet, and the escape could then take place without any stumbling, with peace and tranquility. And we then flew, like an arrow, on the returning road. When we approached my city, the night had already dressed its black veil, and the moon, all splendid, ascended to the sky. Arriving home, I started immediately selling the gold that was being produced by my lamp, and with the raised money, I paid my debts and bought a house. Then, I married the beautiful princess. I keep the lamp donor of gold in a special room, and every day, it gives me several £100 of gold. As a sign of my gratitude to Allah, who has helped me so much in these adventures, I organize, every week, banquets to which I invite poor and beggars. After the meal, I distribute among them the golden plates and the golden lids, so they can later sell them and wait and, this way, support their families. In order to produce these golden plates and these golden lids, I hired a goldsmith who, every week, manufactures them for me. This is my entire story that you wanted to know. Coming so to the end of Furbad's report, Badam thanked him and, saying goodbye, finally took the road back to his homeland. When he got home, the first thing he did was to narrate to the dervish all the incidents of his travels around the world, as well as reward him in a very fair measure for his so valuable collaboration. Badam was now convinced that, in the world, there were people who, truly, were more generous even than the most generous. And then, stopping to think, he came to the following conclusion. Furbad can be more generous than me, but he has with what to be more generous. His lamp donor of golden burns indefinitely, and always supplies him with a large quantity of gold. It's like an inexhaustible source, from which the water is always running. Compared with his wealth, mine is insignificant. Therefore, if I'm not very careful with my expenses, I can be again the same pauper I was before. And thinking this way, Badam went on to leave open, in his house for the poor, only one of those 7 doors, considered as the most important. And through it, he continued distributing alms to the poor until the end of his life, and still left a great legacy for his children. The end.